While preparing for science and tech for UPSC, the basic concepts are very important. If the basic concepts are clear, we can understand the advanced technologies which are happening in these years, and UPSC generally asks questions on the advanced technology. In today's video, we are going to understand what is mass, what is weight, and what is the finer difference. So first, let us take mass. The traditional definition of mass is the amount of substance or the amount of matter in an object. You take any object, how much is the matter in that object, how much is the substance in that object, the measure of that is called as mass. So more the matter, more will be the mass, or more the substance in an object, more will be the mass. Let us take an example of two balls. One ball is made up of cotton, another ball is made up of iron. Both the balls are of same size. So which ball will have more mass? Obviously the ball which is made up of iron will have more mass, whereas the ball which is made up of cotton will have lesser mass. Why? Because the matter in the iron ball is more, the substance in the iron ball is more. Now mass will remain constant. Mass never changes. This is the general principle. If we dive deeper into physics, there are various theories about mass, but we will not go deeper into that because generally mass do not vary. Even though mass varies with velocity, but only in the case when the velocity reaches to the extent of speed of light or velocity of light. So below that, maybe 500 km per hour or 1000 km per hour, at that velocity, there will be very minimal significant change in the mass. So for that reason, we neglect that change. So in general principle, we assume that mass is constant. So any body having some mass will have same mass at one place and same mass at another place. So if we measure the mass of an object on Earth and on Moon or maybe on Jupiter, the mass of the object will be constant. It will not change because the amount of matter, amount of the content or the substance in that body will remain same. It is not going to change. One important property of mass of an object is that when a force is applied on that mass, and this force, if it tries to change the motion of that object or the mass, this mass will oppose that change. For example, if a ball is rolling, it is in motion, and if you apply a force, if you try to apply a force on that ball, it will try to oppose, it will try to continue in that motion. So that is the quality or the property of the mass. So mass always opposes the force which try to change its state of motion. Second property of mass is any object which is having mass, they exert force on another object. Obviously, two objects having mass, they will exert force on each other, and this force is generally attractive. For example, one ball here, one ball here, both the balls, they will apply force on each other, they will try to attract each other, even though this force is very small, very insignificant, but they apply force on each other. This force is called as gravitational force. Now this gravitational force is dependent upon the mass of the objects. So for example, Earth have huge mass. Now because of its mass, it applies force on other objects, attractive force on other objects. For example, us, the human being, or any creature, any animal, or for that matter, any object on this Earth. So Earth applies or Earth exerts an attractive force on these objects. Now this attractive force is what gives us weight. So the pull exerted by Earth on the objects is weight. So weight is not possible without mass. Weight is different from mass. So if Earth will not exert a force on the objects, they will not feel weight, but mass will be there. Now because of exertion of this force by the Earth, it creates an acceleration in a free body. This acceleration is called as acceleration due to gravity. So as Earth exerts force on the objects, similarly other planets or Moon also exert force on the objects. Now this force exerted by the earth or moon or Jupiter or any other planet or any other heavenly body, or for that matter even sun also, it depends upon their mass as well as the mass of the object on which they are applying force. Plus it depends upon the distance between the two. For example, the distance between earth and the object on which it is exerting the force. If the distance is more, lesser force will be exerted. If distance is less, more force will be exerted. Similarly, the acceleration also will be dependent upon the mass of the earth or mass of the planet or mass of the sun or mass of the moon who are exerting force on the object. Now the weight of the object is because of this force. The weight of an object is the measure of this force. So a planet which is having much more mass than the earth, it will attract the object with the heavier force or the larger force. It means the weight of an object on earth will be smaller than the weight of the same object on a bigger planet or maybe on the sun if somebody can go there, right? So weight of an object on earth will be higher as compared to weight of the same object on the moon. Why? Because earth is attracting this object with the higher force, then the moon attracts with the lower force. So this is the difference. The mass of an object, whether it is on earth or it is on moon or it is on sun or it is on Jupiter, will remain same, because mass is the indicator of amount of the matter or the quantity of the matter or quantity of the substance, whereas weight is the measure of the gravitational pull or gravitational force exerted by the various bodies. So earth, which is having huge mass, it will pull the object with certain force, whereas sun, which is almost thousands of times bigger than the earth, it has more mass, so it will pull the object with much more force. So my weight on earth, if it is 73 kg, and if I go on a planet which has 1000 times the mass of the earth, so my weight will be 73,000 kg on that planet because of its mass, because of the gravitational pull exerted by the planet. So that is the difference between mass and weight. Mass is the amount of substance. Weight is the indicator of gravitational force exerted on the mass of the object. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.